Hey everybody, this is Robert from Black Belt Gaming, continuing my Advanced Dungeons & Dragons series. I've got the old first edition core rulebooks out again, and next I thought I wanted to talk about some of the classes. I thought I'd start with Thief. The reason being, Thief is a class that pretty much any of the races can play. And actually there are very few. I think only one race is limited as far as how many levels of Thief they can attain. I think it's the half-orc might be limited to level 8 or 9 or so, but elves, dwarves, halflings, humans, sky's the limit. You can go as high as you can as a thief. So it's not the old rogue as you may be familiar with in later editions. Back in the old days it was called thief. So let's take a look at it. Thieves need a good dexterity score. You're going to need a 9, at least a minimum of 9, to play a thief, and a high intelligence score isn't bad as well. If you have a dexterity score higher than 15, you actually get a bonus to experience points that you are awarded by the referee, so you can advance even faster. Most thieves are neutral or evil, although rare, sometimes you might find a good aligned thief. They primarily make their way by cunning and stealth. And they only get 1d6 hit points per level, so not so durable. They also, due to the need to be quiet, they're only allowed to wear up to leather armor, and their weapons are a little bit limited as well, so nothing real bulky or heavy. They have a number of other abilities: picking pockets, opening locks, finding and removing traps, moving silently, hiding in shadows. They can also listen at doors. They can climb surfaces that other players would have a very difficult time trying to climb. And they also have a backstab ability. So nothing like a sneak attack, if that's what you're familiar with. Backstabbing needs you need to be right behind, and you can use a club, a dagger, or a sword, and it's going to be twice normal damage if you hit, and that damage will go up triple and quadruple as you gain levels. So you got to be clever when you're playing a thief. Speaking of trying to be clever, I really like this bit of artwork from the Dungeon Master's Guide. Thieves, well, they kind of have their own secret language that they can use to speak with other thieves, and they do eventually get a chance to read languages, and they can also, once they become a master thief, which is around level 10, they're able to decipher magical writings and utilize scrolls of all sorts. They can't use the clerical or druid type magic, but wizard and illusionist should be alright. Well, here's a quick look at the table here for experience points. Thieves are going to earn experience points faster than most of the other classes. So if you take a look over here, you'll see how many experience points it takes to go from level 1 to level 2 and on up. Hit points are d6. And in first edition, we had the old titles here. You got a different title as you went from level to level. So you actually start out as a rogue, which is interesting. Basically an apprentice. And then you move up from there. So you probably see down here at level 10, Master Thief is when you can start deciphering those magical scripts of different kinds. On into the book, you'll find a a thief's chance to succeed at the different special abilities they have. It'll give you the base chance, and this can be modified down in this area based on your race. So if you're an elf, for example, you might have a bonus with certain skills, such as hiding in shadows and moving silently, but you might actually suffer a little penalty when you're trying to open locks. So each race will offer something just a little different, and let's talk about these for a minute. According to my understanding, I started playing AD&D back in 1982. But according to those that played earlier editions, even than first edition, the original D&D or basic D&D, there wasn't, early on, there wasn't a thief class that came along sometime later. I may have even overheard that came about during one of the Greyhawk supplements, maybe the Greyhawk setting. I'm not exactly sure what book the thief first appeared in, but it was basically an understanding that kind of all the characters were thieves in a way. They were all, the whole idea of kill them and take their stuff. Everybody was basically a thief. So the thief class, it does have these different skills, but they're kind of skills that you would think some of the other classes would have as well. Like climbing a wall. Shouldn't any character have some kind of chance to do that? Well, yeah, that's true. Any class should be able to give that a try. Or hear a noise. Surely one of the other player characters playing a fighter should have a chance to hear a noise. Hide in the shadows. These are things you would think that everybody would be able to do. So when you look at the level of the thief and what kind of base chance they start with, you'll see that hide in shadows is only 10%. And it just kind of makes you think, wow, I've got 10% to hide and I'm a thief? I'm horrible. Well, the way that we used to play it a long time ago was the thief abilities were something special. They were something that was above and beyond what other characters could do. So I remember playing in some games where we actually used the thief skills here with the percentages as almost like a saving throw, where everybody had a chance to run and hide, and we might try to do that, but where other characters were surely going to fail, they just had no chance, a thief was allowed to make a special roll. They could get away with stuff that no one else could do. They could climb that wall where nobody else even had a chance at all. Or maybe everybody's got kind of a decent chance, and the DM comes up with some kind of either role play situation or some sort of check to see how everybody's doing. And then let's say the thief misses that check. He would have a chance now to make a roll against his thief ability. So, like I said, it's almost like a double take, and that just allowed the thief to be better than everybody else at this kind of activity. So let's say you're in a group and a bunch of you are trying to hide from a wandering monster. So everybody kind of cowers in the corner and tries to find something to hide behind, or stay in the shadows or something. And everybody's got some kind of chance. Maybe the DM's rolling a d6 to determine if everybody's successful and if everybody's quiet. And then the character playing the thief had a bad roll, and he's basically going to be spotted or noticed. But because he's a thief, he gets this special skill, and maybe he gets a second roll. to move silently. And so that's one way that you can kind of make the thief extra good at these kind of activities that really any player character can attempt. Anybody can try to open a lock. They probably don't know what they're doing, and they probably have very little chance to even try. But it's kind of weird to say to the fighter or the magic user, no, you have no chance to hide, or you have no chance to hear anything. You have no chance to climb. If you don't want to play that way, then instead of making the thief less special by allowing other people to do everything the thief can do, make the thief extra special by allowing these percentages to help save him when a normal character would fail. That's just a bit of advice and a way that we experimented playing with a long time ago. Some more information on the thief here is what kind of armor and weapons they're permitted to use. A thief, as we said before, can only wear leather armor. It doesn't give them such a great armor class. They need to kind of stay off the front lines if they can. They can't use a shield. It's too bulky. The weapons that a thief can use are pretty simple and straightforward. A club, a dagger, a dart, a sling, and a sword. And a thief can use a short sword, a broadsword, or a long sword, but not a bastard sword, which is like a hand and a half sword, or a two-handed sword. They're just too big. So, a bit limited there. Very interesting to see here. Very interesting to see. In fact, I'm even going to try to put in front of you the book here where the bit of information is. Very interesting to see that a thief in the core rulebook can't use a bow. There's no bow listed. Now there's another book that came along later that allowed thieves to use a short bow, but no bow or crossbow here for the thieves in the core rules. So if you're a thief and you want some better choices here with your weapons and maybe other types of armor you may want to try on, or do something that kind of expands your options, gives you more options, you've always got the ability to dual class or multi-class. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later. Try to mix up fighter and thief together. You're going to have more options with armor and weapons. You might want to mix magic user and thief. There's quite a few different spells that can give you all kinds of neat abilities, like spider climb and silence and all kinds of other stuff that could help you. Illusionist spells, all kinds of different things you could use through multi-classing. So single class thieves. I've heard that some people say that in their games over the years, finding a thief that just stayed a thief throughout the entire career for his character, they said was kind of rare. Usually they found thieves multi-classed, or as a human dual classing and picking up another class of some sort. So that's an interesting point there. Well, I guess I'll wrap up the video there. There's certainly more I could talk about regarding thieves, but I think this is a decent introduction. Gives you an idea that they're not a especially strong class, but they do level up quickly. And that's just an old way in first edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons that tried to level things out and provide some sort of balance between the different characters. As a thief, you might be 1, 2, or 3 levels higher than someone that's playing a more powerful class. And like I said, multi-classing was a pretty popular option for a lot of people that wanted to play a thief in AD&D. So thanks for watching, everybody. I will catch you later, and we'll talk about some other classes.